Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Singapore Sevens. We have just seen the victory for the Fijians, which means the winner of this contest will be going head-to-head with Fiji for the 9th place playoff game. But looking through at the starting lineups for the Spanish, it is Francisco. It is also Manu Moreno, Pla, Perez, Laforga, Nieto, and also Romero. Then for the Samoans, it is Sepulona Fiao, Yunasioni, Falanico, Tom Maeva, Tuitama, Amisitia, and also Patalacio. Now, we had to rush through that because they are just about to kick off. Now, these two sides recently played, and it was actually a Spanish win by about 30-something points. So I'd like to think that Samoa would have learned from their mistakes here, although first of all, they have knocked that ball on within the first 5 seconds, and it's now going to be Spain who have got themselves the scrum. But it was actually the last game that these two sides played, so it must be a little bit weird doing all the hard work, beating a certain side, and then finding yourself actually playing them straight away afterwards. We almost saw that with New Zealand and Australia. They almost found themselves having a bit of a rematch. Oh. Ball looked like it was a little bit flat. England is not going to be easy for Scott Robinson, says Moulin Lagrange. 30 seconds gone in this contest. Of course, plenty more international rugby to hit us in terms of nation versus nation per se, like club level type arrangement. We're going to see Leinster versus Northampton Saints taking place a little bit later tonight. We are covering that one. Sharks versus Clermont, another one there. Now going back across to the right hand side for the Spanish. Nice stepping. Romero moves up to about 30 metres out from the line. Good driving tackle. Not rolling away. Penalty goes against the Samoans. Now to the left-hand side, almost through was NATO. They've managed to keep a hold of him just for now. The Samoans now back across to the right-hand side. Laforga gets it away into the middle for Manu Moreno. Knock on there from Laforga, or at least I thought it was a knock on. This is the same ref that refereed their last game, isn't it? And I feel like he didn't do the best job, and now he's got the job again in an even more important game for these two sides, it would seem. But it is a knock-on now, going the way of the Samoans. But yeah, I think there was a little bit of a Spanish knock-on before that point. Of course, the winner of this game, like I said, will go on to face Fiji. Not exactly an easy game, definitely because Fiji are angry about missing out on the quarterfinals for the first time ever in Singapore. They've got a little bit of a redemption that they want to be able to get for heading into the last leg of the Sevens. What is your view on All Blacks versus England Test Series? Should be a good series. I'm looking forward to seeing how the sides match up. Of course, everyone's got big expectations for Scott Robinson, but at the end of the day, he's still got to find what team works for him, and also, you know, it's just going to be an exciting time to be a rugby viewer, I would say. Overall, 4.5 minutes remaining in this first half. Just another error. It seems like both sides having a few of them throughout the early stages of the match. Samoa, after the penalty, is going to be able to kick this one into touch. They're just talking about that list of players that are missing from the Samoan team, and they have got quite a hefty list of players unavailable, unfortunately. But I believe at the Olympics, we're going to see a few of those guys returning. It is rumoured that Va'apilo Maleko will be back for the Olympic Games, so hopefully can pick up from where he left off. Now, nice stepping in the midfield from Tuna Tuitama, and it's fantastic to see that man back after he's had his stint at Moana Pacifica. Our ball is still there. Jonas Ioni going around the side of the breakdown. And that is going to be offside against Spain. Samoa doing a lot better in this game than we saw in the last contest up against the Spanish. For anyone wondering about Super Rugby as well, at the moment at halftime, it is 21 points to 10 in favour of the Brumbies. It'll be interesting to see how that second half of the contest ends up going. Well, we will go like this. We will go like that. There we go. Now 3 minutes remaining in this first half. Another chance for Samoa to be able to throw this ball in. They're about 40 metres out from the Spanish line. They only scored themselves 1 try in the last contest, whereas Spain got themselves close to that kind of 40-point mark. It's going to be contestable in the air, but nicely cleaned up by the Samoans. Ball's going to be available there again. Bounce pass for Samoa. Whoever wins this game will be in action tomorrow afternoon, New Zealand time. And that will be to determine who finishes in 9th place. Paul Pla steals the ball. And that will be the try. Another mistake from Samoa leads to the try for the Spanish. And let's go. Manu Samoa and Brumbies looking comfy at the moment. Here's Blues, Nate. Yeah, there's been a couple close games for Super Rugby, but then overall, it just seems like they're going to be all right, the Brumbies, if that makes sense. I don't think we're going to see the comeback. If we do, I'd love it because I did predict that the Fijian draw would win that game up against the Brumbies. But it's going to be tricky, no disrespect to the All Blacks. I think the Test series between South Africa and Ireland is going to be a blockbuster. Says Morne Lagrange. I mean, that's the series that everyone's looking forward to, it seems. I just hope it delivers, because if it ends up being a poor series, which I don't think it will be, but if it does end up being like a bad series between the two sides, I think that there's a lot of the rugby world that will be disappointed, and maybe they look towards those other series, such as New Zealand, England, such as Australia, Wales, France, Argentina, to get their rugby fix. And now nice fend on the outside. Ball available here for the winger. Oh, it's going to be stripped off the ground. Don't think Spain's allowed to do that, but of course, we haven't seen them penalised for too much throughout their matches up against the Samoans throughout this Singapore Sevens. Nice tackle on Paul Pla into the breakdown for Tuna Tuitama and draw to come, or to attack, come on Fiji. I'm begging the All Blacks to beat the box, says a Manny M. Another good tackle made, going off to the left-hand side, flicked out the back door for the Spanish Manu Moreno. Getting within the 5 now. Short ball to Nieto. Tackled on the chest. Samoa, they wanted the turnover. They were told to leave it. Now another penalty going the way of Spain. Wide cutout pass. And Paul Pla as the man who scores. It should have been a 3-match series, not a 2. Says Monet, that's pretty much what everyone has been saying, isn't it? But World Rugby, I think if they've proven anything, is they don't care about what people think. But, you know, they're giving us a Club World Cup in 2028, so that's good, isn't it? Like, at least we got something. But, yeah, I think if we learn anything, it takes a long time for World Rugby to start doing what people ask of them. You know? Like, who didn't want a 3-match test series rather than 2? I don't think there was a single person who would have said, yeah, 2 matches sounds better, other than World Rugby. I think Fiji and Japan under-20 should be allowed to play in the under-20 Rugby Championship, says Manny M. Although I think first they'll have to add them to the actual Rugby Championship, and then once they've done that, they'll probably add their under-20 sides into that competition as well. And Springboks will be off-peak this year, I reckon. World Cup hangover, says Blues Nate. It should have been 3, says Manny M, but currently halftime in this contest, ladies and gents. And the Spanish, if the score is correct, which I think it is, they are sitting 5-0 up. They were extremely close to scoring. In fact, no, they did score out on the wing, didn't they? Right at the end of the half. That second half, very close. Next game that we are covering, ladies and gentlemen, will be kicking off in around 50 minutes' time. And that is going to be the contest taking place between the Sharks and Clermont. Of course, Clermont, few ex-Super Rugby boys in there. Also, we get to see Bathiliato. He's going to be in action. Peter Gasoakula making his way off the bench, who I had completely forgotten had signed for Clermont up until seeing the lineups for this game. Yeah, I'll be interested to see how it goes. Rossi peaks every second year. That's how his mind works. So that says it all. I've heard from World Rugby, they're going to be 24 teams in the 2027 Rugby World Cup. Says Morne Lagrange. 24. I know that there was also rumours of them trying to do 32, but yeah, I think 24 was the one that got a little bit more of a nod, which it will be interesting because I think it's supposed to be like the lower teams face each other and then you get put into a playoff with a higher side, which will just lead to one-sided playoff games, but I guess that's just what's going to happen, and it keeps everyone invested, I guess, for a little bit longer. Yes, 24 for now. Sears Blues, Nate. Now second half about to kick off. Spain at the moment sitting 14-0 up. I'm not happy with 24, should stick with 20. Sears Manny M, but once again, like I said just before, World Rugby don't care. Like, that makes them happy seeing 24 sides, so that's what they'll do. They make some interesting decisions. I'll say that. Now going off to the left-hand side, almost missed this. Says Robert there. Of course, Clermont happening just around the corner up against these Sharks, which we will be covering on the channel as well. Ladies and gentlemen, currently Samoa have got themselves possession inside of their own half. Trying to find that next passing option. Didn't actually have one. Almost Robert. Says Blues, Nate. Ball available for Samoa. They conceded 40 points up against the Spanish in their last contest. Have they learnt from those mistakes? Wide cut out pass here for the Samoans. For Afoi Palaniko. Trying to step. Get the pass on the outside to Tuna Tuitama. Just seems like they're lacking that speedster that they used to have. And the penalty goes the way of Spain for no release in the breakdown. Why has Warren Gatlin never coached the All Blacks? Couldn't tell you. He's coached a lot of other teams. Overall, I just don't know whether or not New Zealand Rugby decided maybe he wasn't quite the right fit for them or something, but yeah. He's coached a lot of other teams around the world. And hey, Blues, says Robert, are going off to the left-hand side. Quick hands, that might end up being an accidental knock-on. I'm hoping it's not a deliberate knock-on, though. Okay, it was during the tackle, which means that it is just going to be the scrum feed for the Spanish, which is good because that would have been very unfortunate if it was a yellow. 5 minutes remaining. And just imagine it was 32 teams in the Rugby World Cup. It'd be a pretty long tournament. Says Monet Lagrange. Although the only difference really would be you'd have one less team in your group, or 32 teams, so depending on how they did it, if they had 8 groups, you'd actually play one less game in the group stage and then it would actually be the same length tournament because you'd still have, in fact it would be 1 week shorter, I believe, if they had that many, unless they had a bye week somewhere in there for every side as well, just to keep them a little bit more fresh. But yeah, it would actually work out to be about the same length of time. Another penalty actually going against Samoa here. I'll be honest, I don't know if their discipline has been that bad in this game or whether it's just they're getting pinged for literally everything they've done on the field and some of the things that they haven't. I think the Wallabies will do better this year. I'd like to hope so. They can't get any worse. Sainz Trapanga, that's going to be the try for the Spanish. And it's Perez who has been able to score it, and this will extend the lead just that little bit more. Like they're saying, Samoa just having to defend all weekend long. And then just good driving run from Azia Perez. Does manage to finish the job. Spain, nope, that kick has not gone over, so the score will remain at 19 points to 0. Now Fiji were able to get themselves the win over the Canadians. 31 points to 7. These two sides still relatively even in some regards. In terms of Spain and Fiji, that is, what they were able to do in their last contest. BJ Lima not playing in this one. Quite a few other players missed out. Steve Onisai, though, someone who is back for Samoa. Hasn't quite had that impact that they would have liked. Time is just about on. Extended the group pool. Well, that helps the lower rank to make the quarters. Low rank find their forms over 2 games left of the World Cup. Sears Blues, no. Picked off, nicely taken by Tuna Tuitama. Now back across, Samoa in the midfield with Iona Sione. Pops it up for Patalasio. Samoa now trying to find that next pass. And Android giving Brumbies a game. Says all in the game. And yeah, it was 14-0 when I saw it, and then it was 21-10. Currently, 21-10 is probably not too bad for the Fijian draw away from home. And if they can score again, they'll be right in it. Hopefully they do well, though, because I did predict them to win it, which was very optimistic. But maybe. We'll see. Patalasio up the middle. That'll be the first try of the match for the Samoans here. First of the 3 converted that they will need if they do want to go on and win this match. Good running from Fa'afoi Falaniko in there. And you're actually right, Hamish. It would have been 8 groups of 4 teams, just like the FIFA World Cup, says Morne the Grange. I like how you've got you actually right, as if like to say you're surprised that I'm right, rather than just I was right. Android just dropped the ball over the try line. That doesn't help, unfortunately, when you are up against a side that are heavy favourites, and then you get your chance, you got to make sure you're taking it. Sounds like the draw weren't quite able to do that. I'll probably end up watching the rest of that game after this one, before getting into the game between the Sharks and Clermont, which is around 40 minutes away, ladies and gents. We will be covering that one on the channel as well. So if you are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Right, we will go like this. Like that, there we go. Now Fa'afoi Falaniko. Now knocked on by Tuna Tuitama. Or was it? Now going back across to the right hand side over the line. And Samoa managed to pull it back with another try. 2 in a row. Afimai. First ever try in his career. Just using their backline, and it's that passing when it's crisp for the Samoans. They actually find quite a bit of success, but it's just getting those passes out in front. That is the tricky part for the Samoans. That's a good kick. That's a very good kick, but it's just missed away to the left-hand side. Had the distance, not quite the accuracy, so the score now sits 19-12, even though the scoreboard's a little bit behind. Currently only 7 points difference between these two sides. It seems like the Samoan supporters and attendants are now starting to believe that their side can go on and win this game once again. Tuna Tuitama went up for it, slapped it out of their hands. That is now going to be the knock-on, though, from Samoa. Tuna Tuitama not happy about it, but I believe it was knocked on by him. 5 handling errors from Samoa compared to the one of Spain, but this game has not been anywhere near as one-sided as the last contest between the two teams. It seems like Samoa's learned from a few of their mistakes. Now, I should mention, if this game is a draw at the end of full time, we will go to Golden Point, and then it's anyone's contest in that situation. Now, hospital pass, but well controlled by Francisco for the Spanish. Rather than rushing it, that looked like a knock-on the ground. Looks like it's going to be play on. Now Juan Martinez trying to finish off the job for the Spanish. Once again, hospital pass. It's going to be nicely controlled by Spain. Keeping that ball alive here. 3 seconds remaining for the Spanish. I think they'll start retreating here to be able to kick this ball into touch. Or do they? Full-time siren, it must not be too far away. And Sainz Trapanga. Martinez, that's accidental offside, and it's advantage in favour of the Samoans. He tried to boot it off his weak foot and ended up missing the opportunity, trying to place that ball and go again. So Samoa, tell you what, they're not going to want this referee ever again. Pretty much, referee says they had the advantage for the knock-on, which is completely fair enough. Then from there, they go to the side. They try and place the ball. They're about to use it out the back, and he says, we'll go back for that advantage because nothing was coming of that breakdown. End of the game. And Samoa will lose 19 points to 12. So I guess fair play to Spain, but Samoa, they've been screwed in their games this competition a little bit. And it sounds bad to say, and of course you shouldn't criticise the referees, but boy, they're trying to get criticised over these ones. Refs need to find another job. Wait, what? Wrong. And scheduled. I got up to toilet. I see you on 6:46 here. AM's here scheduled. Says right. So yeah, we've got a few more games coming up in 40 minutes time. We are covering Clermont versus the Sharks. Also alongside that, we have got a quarter-final of the Sevens. We've got Rugby coming on to cover South Africa versus Australia. And then later on tonight, we are covering Leinster versus Northampton Saints. And I thought it would have been 7 weeks of Rugby World Cup. My thoughts were wrong, and yours right. Says Monet Lagrange, but just for an update, anyone wondering about the Fijian draw versus Brumbies game at the moment, it does sit 21 points to 10 in favour of the Brumbies. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. I will hopefully see some of you back in around 40 minutes time for that next live stream. I do thank you all very much for tuning in, and I will see you all for